Nerdy sports fan here, and that might be the best game that I've watched in 6 years. You see me pulling my headphones out of my shirt here now. Um, I'm really happy I can watch these games on the Yahoo Sports app, so thank you, Yahoo. But god damn, Russell Wilson. Mm, that man's the MVP. He put the team on his back when they needed him most, got a 21-yard run at the end of overtime to give his kicker a chance to put the game away. Shanahan used his last timeout to wipe off a made field goal. Dude lines up and knocks it through again. That is a great way to end. Unless you're the 49ers kicker who missed a potential overtime winner after he made the kick to tie it at the end of regulation. So in the same game, this rookie kicker who's been with 4 different teams so far this year, taken over for Robbie Gould, he makes the kick to send him into overtime, but the moment was too big for him in overtime, and he couldn't make the winner. How much of that do you put on him? He's a rookie. Pressure's on. He might get better, but, I don't know. Moments like that earlier in your career as a kicker tend to end your career. Partly because your confidence rarely recovers. Partly because other teams' confidence in you never recovers. So we'll see. I hope the guy at least lasts the season and gets some more paychecks, but that was a rough one. Both teams' strengths were on display in this one. The defense was the only thing that mattered, really. The offenses were just doing what they could when they could. Now, it was still a good score because of defensive scores. The defenses were nasty in this game. You saw Seattle scored on offense. They didn't score on defense, but the defenses put them in fantastic position. So Seattle, 3 turnovers turned into 21 points early on to no points off of 2 turnovers until the 49ers pick up a fumble recovery towards the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth. Fumble recovery for a touchdown. Buckner, big boy running it in, was fun to watch. Just so many turnovers, so much pressure on either quarterback, especially Jadeveon Clowney getting after it. Jimmy G did not stand a chance. Mike McGlinchey, with his first game back from injury, could not deal with Clowney. Clowney was pushing him back 4 or 5 yards right into Jimmy G's lap every other play. And Garoppolo threw some interceptions because of it. He made a lot of bad throws because of pressure, not necessarily because of the sacks. And they, he got home. He scored a touchdown. He scored a fumble recovery touchdown. That's right. Oh man. Jadeveon Clowney is a force. And seriously, Seattle is reaping the rewards of all of the moves they've done. So, yes, they traded away Frank Clark, but they got a huge return on him. They didn't pay that much for Jadeveon Clowney. And seriously, Clark who? All right? Jadeveon Clowney was all over the damn field, it seemed. Well, just, 3 yards away from Jimmy G the whole game. Man was on fire. And Seattle's defense needed that. They needed to put pressure on Garoppolo because all of the rest of the team needed to focus on stopping the run. They were up against the line of scrimmage, the entire secondary, everything. If they don't have pressure on the quarterback, that scheme doesn't work. If he gets any amount of time, a receiver will break through press man coverage eventually and come open. They just never gave him time. So I loved seeing Seattle do this. I loved it because, the play-by-play, they mentioned a couple of times that the defensive coordinator from San Francisco cut his chops in Seattle, and that's right. He spent a few years there in Seattle. He's been 3 years with San Francisco as the coordinator since Shanahan came over. But, his career started because of Pete Carroll. So he got schooled again. The master that he learned from showed him how it's done. They weren't both full strength. And that's the rub. Late in the season, when teams start going up against each other late in the season and then again in the playoffs, because you know it's going to freaking happen, right? Who was hurt this game? So Emmanuel Sanders goes out, and they don't have their big tight end who that's huge. I mean, Kittle is the best tight end in the league. So that offense turns really quickly one-dimensional. Garoppolo was hitting people in the numbers. Problem is, the receivers were letting it hit them in the damn numbers. Deebo Samuel dropped some crucial balls. Emmanuel Sanders makes a huge difference. George Kittle makes a huge difference. Really, really consistent receiving targets would have helped Garoppolo a lot. And McGlinchey and Staley just came off of injury. You think they're going to be at peak form right now? Definitely not. Clowney was, though, and he took advantage. Come playoff time, McGlinchey's going to have a few games under his belt, healthy, and be in a groove. Do you think Clowney is still going to school him in that situation? Maybe, maybe not. Is Emmanuel going to be hurt still? Is Kittle going to be hurt still? Likely not. So this could be a very different game the next time it comes up, and it was definitely effective in this game. All the injuries, they brought San Francisco down enough for Seattle's defense to take serious advantage, and man, they just worked from all angles this game. They really did. It was a offense, defense, and special teams game. If all three factors are not working well, Seattle doesn't win. San Francisco needed all three factors of their game to work well. And you hate to lay it on the kicker. You hate to. But it definitely wasn't blocked. It was down. It was snapped right. Everything was there for him to do his job the right way. You cannot blame anybody else but the kicker. The dude missed a pretty damn consistently makeable field goal. I get it. It's 47 yards, but it ain't 57 yards. Okay? I'm not saying it's not without risk, but you at least expect it to have the leg and miss off to one side or another. But man, he just punched that damn thing and it had no chance whatsoever. I don't even think it even got high enough to get over the cross member at any point. Ridiculous. Either way, Jimmy G was making errant throws all night because of pressure from Clowney. Kudos to Seattle. San Francisco didn't so much lose this as Seattle won it. So I think San Fran is still a very good team. I called them to win this in a close one. They should have. But there was strong defensive plays on both sides that were stopping teams and keeping the other side from scoring. Specifically, the 49ers. I mean, Seattle was marching down the field early in overtime, and the 49ers stopped them with a turnover. They got an interception. Russell Wilson never throws interceptions. He's thrown one all season. And you almost thought, because of that rarity, because of how big a moment San Francisco just stepped up for, that they were going to win. Russell Wilson got another opportunity because the rookie kicker for San Francisco blew his. That's all it is. If the rookie kicker from San Francisco makes that field goal, the story here is, holy crap, Russell Wilson was supposed to be the MVP, and he throws an interception and gives the game away when they should have won. That's the story. But because somebody else made a mistake after him, and he came up clutch again, he's the MVP. He's the winner. He's the guy that got them there. That's how narrow a difference being a GOAT or being the GOAT is. All right? You're just... That's what I love about football. What I love about this competition is it's so close. It is razor thin, the margin for error in some of these games. Somebody had to win. Just happened to be Russell Wilson and Seattle this game. It could have just as easily been Garoppolo and San Francisco. Because it's not just Russell. It's not just Jimmy G. The rest of the team was the story on both sides. Defense in particular. And yeah, special teams. It all came in. And this, for me, is the main reason why quarterbacks shouldn't make all of the money. Or at the very least, the salary cap expansion should make it so linemen, good defensive secondary, good linebackers, good kickers, start to make their fair share of the dough. Really? Do they get there without Russell? No. Do they get to this win without Jadeveon Clowney? No. Do they get to this win without their kicker? No. They're all important. And in a game like this, almost equally important. Obviously, Emmanuel Sanders is just as valuable to this team as Garoppolo is, because the passing game shit the bed after Emmanuel Sanders' injury. Sanders is never going to get paid as much as Jimmy G, but maybe receivers should be paid more of a percentage, and quarterbacks a little less, even it out a bit, because the receivers matter as much to the quarterback as the quarter matters to the receiver. Before Emmanuel Sanders goes down, Garoppolo's completion percentage was in the high 80s. 140 yards, touchdown, no picks. His next 11, 12 passes, 3 interceptions, 5 completions after the Emmanuel Sanders injury. That's the game for me. Emmanuel Sanders doesn't go out, that offense is clicking, and the game's not as close. San Francisco is still, when fully healthy, the better team. But we're at a point where nobody's going to be fully healthy. So, how's your depth? How's your coaching staff going to handle it? What adjustments are you going to make? The ultimate team sport. Truly. Because you need every last little bit of it. That's it for me, guys. That was a fantastic game. I loved it. It's the best game I've watched in probably 6 years. I just wish it was a playoff game. It's the only thing that would have made it better. Really. I really enjoyed watching Russell Wilson, and this will continue the MVP conversation for sure. Signing off. I'll see you for the pregame videos, guys.